What up, what up, what up? It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, and welcome to another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Week 17, the championship is here. Stardom, sit-em defenses. Listen, I got a special episode for you. I got my smash starts, some reasonable starts. I got some gamble plays, some safe plays, and I got some fades for week 17. Now, hopefully these videos have been helping you out all season long. Congratulations. If you're in the championship, we have to make the right decisions and bring home the gold. So I don't want to waste any more time. So let's get right into the episode. Now let's start off with my smash plays. Now you've been riding with these defenses all season long. You're going to ride with them until the wheels fall off. It's do or die week. So no point of trying to get cute. If you've been getting solid points from them or they've been playing elite defense all season long, you should obviously start these guys. You got Chiefs, Browns, Bills, Colts, Broncos, 49ers, and Ravens. They all have elite matchups. They all have points on the table for them. Now, with the Browns, you got versus the Jets Thursday Night Football. Joe Flacco revenge game, man. But the Browns, man, defense, they're going to be going up against Trevor Siemian. Zach Wilson has ruled out. Not being that that's a factor of why the Browns defense have a great matchup, because Trevor Siemian has honestly been playing better than Zach Wilson, but it's still Trevor Siemian. You know what I mean? Still got the interceptions on the table. Still have a ton of sacks as this Jets O-line can't block for nothing. Now, the Colts versus Raiders, another game I want to highlight. The Colts have been playing elite football all season long. Aiden O'Connell project has run its course last week. We saw that game. Terrible, man. Didn't complete a pass, all of the second half, basically. It's just nasty work there. Broncos versus Chargers, that's an easy layup. You should be riding with the Broncos all season long for the rest of the season, what I meant to say. But the Broncos, they have plenty of upside going against this Chargers offense who lost complete hope. Now, 49ers Commanders, another layup, man. 49ers, let's go. Keep losing those games. But I'm a Rams fan, but I'm just kidding. But I really feel as though this is a layup for them too. You've been riding with their defense. Don't take last week against the Ravens anything towards this Commanders offense. Now, Ravens Dolphins. Listen, you're probably thinking this Dolphins offense, this passing attack, et cetera, et cetera. But we just watched the Ravens have 5 interceptions on defense last week, keeping a hot 49ers team in check with CMC, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. All these guys were on the field. All these guys were making plays, but this Ravens defense still has upside against Tyreek Hill and Tua in that passing attack. Moving on to reasonable starts. Now, these starts are reasonable where you had questions about them at certain points of the season, where you need to basically have your expectations in order, where I think these teams can maintain the points. Cowboys versus Lions. And now you got Jerry's World. You got the Lions on the road. Jared Goff with pressure and on the road. It just sounds like a formula disaster. So I feel as though the Cowboys have the upside for a solid matchup. Now you got Dolphins versus Ravens. You're going to be starting the Dolphins just based on how they just been playing football since Jalen Ramsey has returned from injury. I don't like sitting the Dolphins this week. I don't care that it's the Ravens. The Ravens are human as well. Lamar Jackson made some fumbles, some interceptions in the last couple of weeks in the month of December. So there's still points on the table, but I think this Dolphins defense could keep Lamar Jackson in check to not score a ton of points. Titans versus Texans. Now, this is a matchup I want to talk about because in the same game, Texans versus Titans, you can start both these defenses. Now, both of these teams, they didn't score a bunch of points on each other when they first met 2 weeks ago. Both teams were under 20 points. You also had the Titans defense. They are tied most sacks in December right now, and that is crazy to think that the Titans have an elite defense pass rush in the month of December right now, but hey, they're at the top of the list. Now, the Texans, they're going against the Titans. They're allowing the top 5 most sacks in the NFL right now. So I like the upside of the Texans to getting some pass rush, get some sacks, maybe some interceptions like they did last week. So when you have Ryan Tannehill, he has the rushing upside. He likes to run into pressure sometimes, so those can equal sacks. So to get to the rest of this list, man, you got Patriots versus Bills. Josh Allen's probably accepted in his soul that he's probably going to lead the NFL in turnovers, which means points for us on defense if he's going to keep airing it out and being this aggressive. Patriots defense have been elite all season long. They've been getting the turnovers. They actually been getting some sacks as of late as well. So points are on the table for this Patriots defense. They've been keeping teams in check all season long. Now, going down to the Jets and Browns, this will be the last reasonable start for you because, listen, Joe Flacco is aggressive going downfield. Yeah, he's throwing 300-plus yards, but he's also throwing interceptions, so that means there's upside for some interception to keep these wide receivers in check for this Jets defense to put up some points for you in the championship. Now to get into some gamble slash safe plays. Now, what I mean by this, these are matchups that I have some questions about, but I just want to get my expectations in order because most likely all the good defenses are on bad teams that lost that are not in the championship. So you're trying to shuffle around and see who's still available on the wire for you. If you don't have that many options, I think these matchups should be fine for you if you've been riding with some of these teams because at the end of the day, it's the championship. You got to do what you got to do. Now, Eagles versus Cardinals, Bucks versus Saints, Steelers versus Seahawks, Jags versus Panthers. Now, this looks like a layup matchup because for the Panthers offense is completely terrible, but they kind of been showing some life lately, and that's why I'm a little questionable about this Jags defense, but they're still a reasonable start this week to put some points on the board. It is a gamble play, so my expectations here are between 7 to 10 points with this Jags defense. Now, Raiders. I'm sorry for doubting you. I wasn't familiar with your game. Last week you were on my fade, but obviously you keeping Patrick Mahomes in check does do something for me to have to put you in as a gamble safe play to have my expectations between 7 to 10 points with them. I'm going to start taking them into consideration next season as well. But against this Colts offense, I think we can shake away with some sacks and maybe a turnover here and there. So I just want to have my expectations in order here, even though they've been the best defense in the month of December, allowing the fewest points per game. So Raiders, don't do me wrong, man. Moving on, Lions versus Cowboys, a reasonable matchup. We've seen the Cowboys struggle at times on offense, and we've seen them able to turn up. But the Lions, they've been able to keep the run in check. They've been able to get some sacks as well. So there is some upside for points. But like I said, have your expectations in order here, people. Falcons versus Bears, that's another matchup. It's a gamble play with Justin Fields being able to run all over the field. But hey, you got the Falcons. They are tied first with the Dolphins with 14 sacks. Tied fourth with 14 sacks in the month of December. So they've been able to get the sacks, been able to get the turnovers, as you can see, and keep some teams to low scoring points. So like I said, expectations between 7 and 10. Moving on to my fades for week 17. I don't want to keep you guys here too much longer, but understand that these teams, I do not like the matchup. I don't like the upside. Giants versus Rams, Bengals versus Chiefs, Packers versus Vikings. I want to talk Packers versus Vikings for a second because both of these defenses, they do give me some type of because it is a divisional game. These teams like to go out and make shootouts. These teams like to make, the biggest plays ever. Touchdowns from your special teams can happen in this game. It's a lot going on with this Packers and Vikings offense. Nick Mullins has not looked terrible. This Packers defense, they have not been able to keep the run in check. So my concern here is that the Vikings, they start getting hot with Ty Chandler. He starts getting to the end zone, finding the end zone, and they're getting beat on the ground. So that's not what I want to have with the Packers, and they're putting up a bunch of points on the Packers defense with the Vikings being able to get the run game going. I'm not really worried about the passing game because the Packers have been middle of the pack when it comes to the passing game, but you still have Justin Jefferson there as well. So Bengals, I'm not really going to go into much detail, even though Patrick Mahomes has looked bad in the last couple of weeks, but so has his Bengals defense, giving up a lot of chunk plays. This would be the game that, Patrick Mahomes gets his groove back and everything's fine. I don't want to risk it here whatsoever, but for the most part, these fades, these teams haven't even seen your starting lineup in recent weeks, or they have. But I just don't like the matchups for these guys, and I don't want you going out there being desperate because a lot of other rosters, a lot of other league mates like to hold on defenses, even though they're out of the playoffs, which they should. They shouldn't drop them, so you could pick them up on the waiver. But it could look really scary right now because I've seen a lot of playoff teams holding 2 to 3 defense. So hopefully this video was able to help you out for your championship decisions. I tried to get my best through all these teams. I tried to give my analysis on most of these teams to keep you guys entertained, but don't keep you here forever. I don't want to be here for 10 to 15 minutes talking about defenses about you. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I'll try to hit your start and sit questions up until championship time. But make sure you guys like and subscribe to the RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. And of course, you guys can follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.